Have you ever had a game that came back from the dead, a phoenix reborn, and all of a sudden it jumped right back into one of your favorite games of all time? Let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? My name is Nick Murphy of the Brothers Murph, and this is Meta Game Minute, a weekly segment where we talk about anything we want to talk about in board gaming today. Today I want to talk about exactly that, games that came back and made a resurgence in your gaming life, I guess. This kind of happened to me recently. It's kind of been happening a couple different times, but there's one specific instance, and that is with a game called Legendary. Marvel Legendary specifically, because at this point there's a couple different kinds of Legendary. Mike, as most of you know, has been on paternity leave, and so I've been doing a lot more solo gaming, and specifically a lot more solo streaming. We've had a couple of board game houses come out that were solo as well. So I've been doing a lot more of that, and I've been exploring a lot of games that we haven't played in a while. And we end up having to play Marvel Legendary because we stream over on Gen Con TV's channel, over on Twitch, and Upper Deck, who makes Legendary, sponsored a couple different streams, and it kind of made us play the game again. It made specifically me play the game again. And in that sponsorship, they wanted us to play the new expansion, which is the Doctor Strange expansion. And I played that new expansion on stream, and then I ended up having to play it again for another thing, and I was just blown away at how much fun I was having. And if you don't know our relationship with Legendary, Legendary is our most played game of all time. We had a span of about a year or so where it was me, Mike, and Mike's girlfriend at the time, Casey, and we all loved Legendary. We absolutely fell in love with it, and we would play it 2 to 3 times a week. And each time we played it on one of those days, we played it 2 to 3 times at least. And we did that for a year. It is by far at this point still our most played game is Marvel Legendary. We used to buy every single expansion when it came out. We bought all of them all the way up to Civil War, and at that point it had been over a year. We'd played it hundreds of times, and we were kind of like, okay, cool. It started petering out, and we were like, you know what? Okay, I think we're finally done with the game, or at least we're not going to play it nearly as often anymore. And we stopped getting expansions at that point. We kind of stopped playing the game altogether, and we would play it once a year, twice a year, here and there. We had a whole big box that we made for it to hold everything. It was a whole big to-do. And then we started playing it less and less and less and less and less, all the way to the point where we haven't played it probably in about a year and a half at this point. And if you watch our top 10 games that we've cooled on, that was one of the games on the list, was Marvel Legendary, and the whole reason why we had cooled on the game was basically because we were like, look, we've played it. We've played this game hundreds of times, and we're just kind of done. And honestly, this game, Marvel Legendary, came back in such a big way into my life because we had to kind of play it again, and I got to play that new Doctor Strange expansion, and it was the first time I'd played new Legendary stuff in 5 years. I had been reminded of how incredible that feeling is when I was playing a deck for the first time and seeing the new keywords and seeing like, oh, now these villains have something called astral plane, so they go over here and you can't fight them. You have to get them out of the astral plane and put them back on the main board to fight them. That's so interesting. Okay, so now I have to start working things like that. And then I also had the new heroes, all the Doctor Strange heroes, and figure out how they work. And I was reminded of like how incredible that feels when you have something that you love and you get something new and you get to explore it, and that need, that hunger to keep playing, and that hunger to keep like just exploring it and seeing how it works, and then maybe taking some of those heroes and playing with some of the other heroes that we have and seeing like, how would this character work along these characters, and start kind of mixing and matching everything in, because that's what we used to do. We used to get a new expansion. We would play only with that new expansion until we played everything, and then we would just start kneading it in like dough. We were folding it in like we're doing a recipe, and it just became part of the thing, and we just randomly choose stuff and play, and it was so much fun. And playing this new expansion really like reignited that love in me for Marvel Legendary. And it's not so much just like, there's a lot of other games that I've been soloing recently. I just played the Networks for the first time in a long time, and I was minded like, wow, I forgot how much I love this game. And honestly, at this point, because it was up on our top 10 games we cooled on, and because we're probably gonna do a cull of some of our games later this year, I would put money, absolutely put money, that if I didn't play this game recently here, that game would have gone. I think Marvel Legendary would have ended up on that coal pile, and I think we would have said, hey, you know what, we're done, we played it enough, we're good to go, we'll move it on to somewhere else. And honestly, that would have been fine, but now I'm just like, not only am I like, oh yeah, that's right, I really like this game, I'm so hungry for it that I'm thinking about getting some of the expansions. It's like trying to like look back and say, like, what new expansions are out? There's a lot. I'm starting to kind of look in and be like, oh gosh, am I gonna start collecting Legendary again? Because that's probably pretty bad. And so that is a game that made a resurgence to the point where I really want to play it again, and I really want to keep exploring this, and I kind of want to get some more expansions so I can find out what the other keywords are, and I can start mixing everything in. And it's really like, again, kind of like a Phoenix Reborn has just like come back into my life. And it really reminded me of like why I play board games, and that feeling of discovery and so much excitement, and it's just so cool. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, that's why we play board games. Oh yeah, that's right, that's why Mike and I made board games our careers. There's nothing quite like that feeling, and having a game resurge and come back into my life like that is something that's never really happened before. So down in the comments, let me know, have you ever had that happen? Have you ever had a game that you kind of wrote off? Not just a game that you just hadn't played in a while, but a game you had honestly like pretty much written off completely, and it came back into your life in a big way. And maybe you're kind of like, oh man, I really regret getting rid of that, which is our top 10 games we regret getting rid of. And this one probably would have ended up on that list if we had done it a couple years from now. And so let me know down in the comments below if you've ever had a game that had a huge resurgence like this. Let me know down below. And that's going to be it for this Metagame Minute. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to like this video if you haven't already. Share it around. Subscribe to the Brosmurf if you haven't. We'd really appreciate it if you did so. And leave a comment down there with a game that kind of got brought back up for you. Until next time, my name is Nick Murphy, and we'll see you later. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much for watching that Metagame Minute. Has a game ever made a resurgence for you? Let us know down in the comments below. We want to give a real quick shout out to our channel sponsors, Restoration Games, Lucky Duck Games, and Board Game Geek. And it is the last day of the month, which means it's the last video of June. So this is going to be Nike Nick's last time, at least right now, getting shouted out for a sponsorship. Thank you so much, Nike Nick, for sponsoring the Brosmurf for the month of June, and thank you for being cool with us just saying random ridiculous stuff about you. You're just so awesome and so wonderful, and thank you for being a part of our community. We really appreciate it. Make sure to check out other Metagame Minutes over there on the right side of your screen, and we will see you later.